tonight the class is a little different. This is me basically preaching at you today on to love yourself, right? To love yourself. Self-acceptance. This class is called Self-Acceptance, Loving Yourself Enough to Rise Above Your Inner Dialogue. That inner dialogue that tells us we're not enough. You got to wait. You got to wait till everything's perfect. You got to wait, right? Oh man. You got to wait till everything's perfect before you move forward, which is just simply not true. Rebel and I talk about this frequently. I found a video the other day that talked a little bit about it, and I was like, I couldn't ever find words like what I could be, right? I couldn't find words on how I move forward doing things. Like once I started doing them, like the podcast and stuff and like the nonprofit, it's like I just go, because if I stop and think about it, I'll find all the reasons not to, right? And so it's easier just to do that. Self-acceptance is a huge part of this, right? Self-acceptance is something that many people struggle with, even the ones that come up and act like they don't, right? I have some friends that I'll say are within the music industry that they straight up would tell me that they have, things with self-acceptance, self-love and things like that. You would never know, but I know, I know it. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and move forward, right? The class is Loving Yourself Enough to Rise Above Your Inner Dialogue. Hey, lady. This class is not about silencing your inner dialogue, right? Because Lord knows that you can't silence that you know what. It's about learning how to stop letting it decide who you are. How many times have you been in situations to where you want to do something, you're thinking about doing something, you want to call that person, you want to go out and do this, but you don't because something stops you, and it's not the intuition. I'm talking about the one that makes you feel small, the one that says, you can't do that. If you do that, then this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen, and then if you do that, then this will happen. That one, right? That one. If you've ever felt tired, not because of life, but because of your own thoughts, you're not alone. If you've ever felt tired, not because of life, but because of your own thoughts, you are not alone. Place one hand on your chest. Do it, do it, do it. Place the other hand on your stomach. Take a slow breath in and out. If you've ever felt tired, not because of life, but because of your own thoughts, you're not alone. Most of us think inner dialogue is a problem to fix, but the truth is it is formed for a reason. Your inner dialogue is formed for a reason, and it's been formed for a long time. All us oldies up in here, right? It's been formed for a long time. The voice didn't show up because you were broken. It showed up because at some point being hard on yourself felt safer than being hurt again. And this is going to hurt some of you guys. It hurt me when I first wrote it down. I'm going to say it again. The voice didn't show up because you were broken. It showed up because at some point being hard on yourself, being mean to yourself, not being nice to yourself, saying mean things to you felt safer than being hurt again. It was safer for you to hate on yourself, for you to not like yourself, for you to not put yourself out there. It felt safer. It felt safer than you just being hurt again and again, right? For many of us, the inner dialogue learned how to keep us alert, productive, prepared, and guarded. Like a castle wall, baby. Like a castle wall. It learned how to anticipate disappointment. It learned how to stay one step in front of pain. One step in front. The problem is not that our voice exists. The problem is that we were never taught how to have a relationship with it. We were only taught how to obey it. You were never taught how to have a relationship with that inner voice that's mean to you. You were only taught to obey it. When you obey it, you're safe. You're safe. Ask yourself this. When does my inner dialogue get the loudest? When are some times that y'all's inner dialogue gets the loudest? For me, it used to be right before the podcast. Ask Rebel, she's seen me and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. It used to be in situations like that. When is your inner dialogue the loudest? Give me some. Give me some. Give me some. When is your inner dialogue the loudest? Sometimes it is at family gatherings. Sometimes it could be at work when things go sideways and I have to act fast. Yes. Yes. Sometimes we feel that pressure, like, oh God, this is what I'm feeling. And silence is the worst. Yeah, silence is the worst. Yeah, at work, when you doubt yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Is it when you try to rest? Is it when you slow down? What about when something really good is happening? Just think about that. Does your inner dialogue ever get a little wild when something good is happening? I know I have that. I'm sure some of you guys have that. It's like, oh, this isn't going to last. What did you do? What's going to happen now? I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. Something good couldn't certainly be. When you try to convince yourself that you can. Yep. Yep. Could it be your inner dialogue is the loudest when you're about to be seen? When you're about to be seen, think about all the times that our inner dialogue comes at us, right? Says things to us. For sure, when I'm about to be seen, hell yeah, right? Hell yeah. Why would it not come, right? You learn from a very young age that it's safer to not be. So if you put yourself out there, right? Danger. This is some of the things that we were taught about worth I want you guys to think about. Most of us were taught that worth is something that you prove. Something that you prove. You have to prove. You're not good enough to be doing this. I've felt that before. Most of us were taught that worth is something that you have to prove. We were taught that rest only comes after productivity. You can only rest after you do things. You can only rest after you do the chores. That's what Chris's mom always said, rest after you do the chores. You can only rest after you go to work. You can only rest after you do your podcast, right? Most of us know it's a thing that's ingrained in us as humans. You rest after you do work. That still means you're earning your worth. If you're stuck in that still means you're earning your worth. You don't think that you're worthy just to be. And I'm not lecturing anybody. I do the same thing to myself, right? We were taught that rest only comes after productivity. Love only comes after effort. When people really love you, they're not going to only love you after you give something to them. They're not going to only love you if you do something for them. We were taught that rest comes after productivity, that love comes after effort, that belonging only comes after a performance, right? And then we wonder why it's so hard to strip the mask away. So when we stop moving, striving, or pushing, the inner dialogue panics. The inner dialogue panics and freaks the F out. It says, you should be doing more. You're not doing enough. What are you doing? You're falling behind. Other people are handling this better than you. You need to do better. That voice is not evil. The voice is terrified of stillness because stillness removes distraction. Stillness, pure stillness, takes away doom scrolling, right? Why are you doing that? Yeah. Why do you always do that? I used to get that one. Because stillness removes distraction, and without distraction, your feelings surface. Feelings surface. And no one has taught us how to stay with our feelings. Stay with your feelings. I saw a thing the other day. It was it was a visual reel, and it was a woman and there was two clear buckets, and one was, they both had blue dye in it, but one of them, the dye settled, and that was like setting with your feelings and just letting them kind of go. And then the other one, like you got in it and like mixed it all up and stuff, and it took forever for it to go. And the whole idea of it is that when you get in the middle of it and get all mixed up and it gets all foggy, it gets foggy, right? But if you will sit with it, it will become clearer quicker. Hi. It will become clearer quicker. The voice isn't evil, it's terrified of stillness, because stillness removes distraction, and without distraction, your feelings surface. No one taught us how to stay with our feelings. Are you ready to talk about self-abandonment? I know you are. The quiet, secret habit we have. Is it? Your water is very muddy right now. The quiet, secret habit. Self-abandonment. It doesn't look dramatic. It's not a big, huge, like, I am going to self-abandon right now. Everybody come with me and watch, right? That's not how this works. Self-abandonment does not look dramatic, right? It often happens in complete silence. It looks practical. It looks responsible. It looks normal. You have not changed at all. You're just being how you are every day. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. Abandoning thyself. There's nothing wrong. But self-abandonment looks like ignoring your body. Self-abandonment looks like ignoring your body. Self-abandonment minimizes your emotions. Self-abandonment, doing for others, is first place. Self-abandonment is explaining yourself when you don't owe an explanation. Self-abandonment is saying yes when really you mean no. Every time the inner dialogue says you should be handling this better and you believe it, you leave yourself. You walk away from yourself. You self-abandon. Every time you say yes when you really want to say no, it is self-abandonment. I understand that there's times that we do have to say yes, right? That's just life, right? But if it is more often than not, that is self-abandonment. Every time you choose to not do what's best for you, every time you choose not to do something healthy for yourself, something magical for yourself, it is self-abandonment. I'm not suggesting you need to take all the bank out and go and do magical things and forget about work and all those things. But self-abandonment doesn't show up in those big ways. It feels like it's those big ways, but it shows up in the small ways. Every time the inner dialogue says you should be handling this better and you believe it, you walk away from yourself. You leave yourself. And most of us learned how to leave ourselves long before we knew we were doing it. We are so good at it. Here's a question for you. Where do you tend to abandon yourself first? Where's the first place? Think about it. You don't have to say it. If you want to say it, you can. Where's the first place you tend to abandon yourself? Do you abandon yourself because you don't rest? Do you abandon yourself because you don't keep your boundaries? Do you abandon yourself because you don't feel your emotions? You push them down? Is your body currently the state that it's in a result of you abandoning yourself? It's hard, right? Boundaries and emotion. Yes. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. So the thing is, when we talk about rising above that inner voice, right? We make it sound so easy, right? We're just going to rise above it. I did a video. I'm going to put out about our collective. And it's like, just do this, just do this. It sounds so easy, right? Everybody talks about how easy it is, but no one ever really gets in and shows you like, this is what you need to do. Rising above it is not silencing it. If you could silence that bad word, we would have done it a long time ago, right? We would have done it a long time ago. If we were going to be able to silence it, none of us would ever have the struggle because we could just silence it. It's fine, right? Rising above your inner dialogue doesn't mean that that voice disappears. It means you stop letting it drive. You stop letting it control you. The inner voice is connected to, and people would tell me probably that I'm wrong on this, but I do believe this. The inner voice is connected to the trauma and the things that happened to you in the past because it's trying to protect you from the past. So it's not even a voice that's reflective of what you're going through right now, right? It's just coming in, right? It's not even reflective of where you are now. It's a voice that grew just like you did. It's your inner voice, and it's trying to keep you protected. It is connected to everything in the past that's ever happened, and it's trying to keep you safe. It has nothing to do with where you are right now, yet you listen to it all day long. It doesn't even know who you are right now, right? It's just trying to keep you protected. But you're an adult. You're an adult. You can make choices. It made you stop letting it drive. You don't rise above by arguing with that voice. It's not going to do any good. You rise above by no longer handing it authority. It is the same way on forgiving people that have hurt you, right? You do not just randomly heal, right? You start healing and you stop giving them that control over your life, right? And it's the same with the voice that tells you you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not this, you're not that. You rise above by no longer handing it the authority. You have authority over your own life, right? Your own body, it's your body, it's nobody else's, right? You have that authority. You really do. The voice can be loud. It does not mean that it's wise. Have you ever met people when they're yelling? When they're yelling at you, are they always wise just because they're the loudest? No. Kind of the opposite, right? Just because it's loud, it does not mean that it's wise. The voice can be loud, but it doesn't mean that it's in charge. Just like the people screaming. You can scream, it doesn't mean you're in charge. Does this make sense? That voice is connected to all the things you've been through, and it is reacting and living as if all those things are still true. If you don't want them to be true, right? If you don't want them to be true, it's just not. It's just not. The voice is connected to the prior things that have happened to you. It is not who you are right now. That's why you challenge it, right? Challenge it. Let it be loud. It's not in charge. The more you challenge it, the more that it realizes, oh, and you start building anew, right? You start building a new inner voice. If I'm 49, I've had 49 years, right, of this voice. It's not going to go away overnight. It's not going to change overnight. The voice is loud, but it is not in charge. Self-acceptance is not a feeling. You can't feel self-accepted. I mean, you can, but that's not what self-acceptance really is. Self-acceptance is a choice of being present. It's a choice of being present with all of yourself. It's a choice of presence. Loving yourself enough means you stop leaving when things get uncomfortable. And when I say leaving, I'm not necessarily talking about leaving a relationship or leaving a job or leaving a friendship, though that does tie into this. But loving yourself means you stop leaving when things get uncomfortable. That means you stop leaving and abandoning yourself. All of you guys, all of us that have abandonment issues, you're literally abandoning yourself 100 times a day. You feel like you're being abandoned because you are. If you could be abandoned, you're an adult, right? There's some argument there. But if it feels like you're being abandoned, it's because you're abandoning yourself all day, every day. If you weren't, what would happen if you weren't? You stop leaving and changing when things get uncomfortable. You are worth that. It means staying when you're tired. Staying when you're unsure. staying when you don't like how you feel. And I'm not suggesting that if it's a bad environment, your intuition tells you to go. Don't say, well, Kitty told me to stay in the dark alley and just wait. It felt uncomfortable, but she said to wait. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're trying something new, it's going to hurt. It's going to feel uncomfortable, right? Because your inside voice says, oh my God, someone's going to see you. And until you do it enough to stop abandoning yourself and realize it's going to be okay, it's going to feel that way. Just like when I started the podcast, I used to be terrified the first 36 episodes before I ever jumped on it. It's my podcast. I get to choose what happens. And I was terrified on it, right? You abandon yourself every time. Terrified. What if I don't do good enough? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? You abandon yourself. Most of us were taught how to stay. Most of us weren't taught how to stay. We were taught how to fix, override, or push through, not stay. Okay? You were taught to stay? No. You weren't taught to override. You were not taught to stay. You were taught to fix, override, and push through. But you weren't taught how to stay. Push through means pushing through. Stay in your emotions. You're not taught that. Feel those emotions. Sit with them. If you can sit with them and move through them and understand why you're feeling that way, it goes away. That's my opinion anyway. And the things that I have to sit through, there's been a few times I've had something happen and I felt an emotion and I'm like, I gotta, woohoo, hang on. I gotta go over here. I gotta figure out what it is. And then it goes away and you're like, oh, well, that sucks. That's what that was. But then it goes away. It goes away. Most of us weren't taught how to stay. We were taught how to fix, override, or push through. What would change if you stayed with yourself instead of correcting yourself all the time? For those of you who are share the same, like, I don't get anything finished because I have so many things, but then I might mess it up. Like, what would change if you stayed with yourself instead of correcting yourself? What if you just stayed with yourself and you did it? It got uncomfortable, but I'm still going to do it. What would happen? What would happen? What is the worst thing that could happen? Nothing. That's the worst thing that could happen. And that's exactly what you're doing if you don't do it. So all right, so we're going to talk about re-relating to the voice. The goal is not to destroy your inner dialogue, right? We don't need to destroy any parts of you. We are really good at that anyway. The goal is to re-relate to it. Re-relate to it. If you were doing something, I'm just going to say, if you were getting ready to step in front of a moving train and a child came up to you and said, hey, you're going to get hurt, would you listen? Would you listen? Okay, now you know why you listen. Right? Because it's the little child, the inner child coming up and saying that. You're going to get hurt. You should move. When the voice shows up, instead of arguing with it or listening to it, just acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. You can say, I hear you. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. I know you're trying to protect me. I hear you. I know you're trying to protect me, but you don't decide my worth. I'm going to sit right here with it. I'm going to stay. I hear you, little. I know you're trying to protect me, but you don't decide my worth. I'm staying. I hear you. I know you're trying to protect me. You don't get to decide my worth. I'm staying. The voice softens when it no longer feels that it's in charge. There are times you will borderline on a panic attack, or you could have a full-blown panic attack. You panic, you shake, right? Even if your voice shakes. The voice softens when it no longer feels in charge. When somebody no longer feels that they're in charge, when somebody gets taken down and they no longer feel in charge, they're quiet. They shut their mouth. When they're not all powerful and they're not the one that's in charge anymore, they're quiet. Not saying they don't go out with a fight. The voice softens when it no longer feels it's in charge. That's true. I don't get panicked anymore about being the podcast or doing the podcast. I don't. What's the worst that could happen? Me not do the podcast. That's the worst that could happen. The voice softens when it's not in charge anymore. Here are some mantras for integration for you guys. I can hear my thoughts without becoming them. Do you know that? I can hear my thoughts without becoming them. I heard someone say this once, that when you hear your inner thoughts, you need to look at it like this. If someone came up to you and said, now I'm not talking about you guys that have green hair, okay? But if someone came up to you and said you have green hair and your hair was red, would you argue with them that your hair was green? No. No, you wouldn't. Right? You wouldn't argue with them. It's not what's happening, right? It's not it. So if you can hear your thoughts without becoming them, like if your inner dialogue saying your hair's green, no, it's not, unless you do dye your hair green, right? That's different. But you know what I'm saying. You can hear your thoughts without becoming them. You can hear your inner thoughts say you're going to fail, and you can still do it. And you might fail, but you might not. You can hear your thoughts without becoming them. I don't need to earn rest, love, or belonging. That's over. That's over. You do not have to earn love. If someone you are with and around you makes you earn your love or earn love, not it. Not it. You do not need to earn rest, love, or belonging. If someone makes you feel like you have to earn it to belong here, we're so special, you have to earn this. No, you don't. You don't. Self-acceptance means I stay. Self-acceptance means you stop abandoning yourself. Self-acceptance means when you don't want to do something, you start not doing it. Self-acceptance means you do what's best for you, even if it's painful sometimes. Self-acceptance means if you go to the gym and it's hard, you know it's for you, so you stay. It means you choose to stay. The voice is loud, but it is not the one in charge. I choose presence over punishment. Every time you choose to abandon yourself, you're punishing yourself. You're allowing yourself to punish yourself. You have no idea what really is going to happen. I mean, some people might know what's going to happen because, they got the weird intuition thing going. You don't really know what's going to happen. If you try, you could fail. If you try, it could be amazing. I choose presence over punishment. You punish yourself over and over again for past mistakes, for current mistakes, for things that literally are not you anymore, just like the voice inside your head that is telling you all this crap that you listen to. It is all the past. It's all connected to things from the past. Until it's not, right? Until it's not. I choose presence over punishment. Self-acceptance does not mean that voice disappears. It's part of you. It means you no longer abandon yourself because of it. It doesn't mean the voice disappears. It just means you no longer abandon yourself because of it. You're not behind, no matter what a lot of you think, including myself. You are not broken. You're just learning how to stay. If you need to carve that into your wall, you are not behind, you are not broken, you are learning how to stay in a time and a world where you've been taught to leave, to abandon yourself, to make everyone else happy. All the way up to the government, right? You're taught. You do this to make others happy. You are not broken. You're not behind. You're learning how to stay. And staying, especially when it's hard, is actually one of the bravest things you could ever do. Staying and feeling the anxiety and feeling the heart racing and feeling the emotional dysregulation because you're going against something that you've only known as comfort is powerful. It is one of the bravest things you could do. You don't need to become someone new. You're just coming back home to who you really were. You don't have to become someone new. You're coming home to who you already are. That's what I got for you. Do you want me to read these things again? The things here. I can hear my thoughts without becoming them. I don't need to earn rest, love, or belonging. Self-acceptance means that I stay. The voice is loud, but it is not in charge, right? Things lose power when they're no longer in charge. I choose presence over punishment. Self-acceptance doesn't mean the voice disappears. It means you are no longer abandoning yourself because of it. You're not going to be able to do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. What if it doesn't work out? What if they stay mad at you? What's the worst thing that could happen? Like, come on, don't do it. You really want to put yourself out there? People will see you. Do you want people to see you? That's not safe. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're learning how to stay. And staying, especially when it's hard, is one of the bravest things that you can do. You don't need to become someone new. You're coming home to who you already are. And that is your class tonight. Did this hit you guys in the feelers? Did it help you some? When you're struggling with that inner voice, remember that it is the voice of the past, right? Your inner voice is based upon history, right? It's based upon experience. It's based upon all the trauma, all the good, bad, and ugly that you've ever had. It's not based on the present. It's based on experience, right? And if you have that voice doing that, understand it's a voice from the past, right? And if you're not going backwards, then why listen to it? I know I make it sound real easy, but why listen to it? If you're not going to the past, then why is it so important? Tomato. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It is. We want to get away from the past so much, but we let it control us more than anything. You would think if we wanted to get away from the past and all the things that have happened that we would, start doing everything we could to let go of it. That's not always what we do. So I hope that helped you guys.